So, the first week of the LCS has concluded, and it was a super competitive, awesome first week. If it's indicative of the rest of the split we're going to have, then we're in for an awesome split of NALCS, frankly. I'm super excited, but I think the biggest surprise, to me and to a lot of people, was Team EnVyUs here. When this roster was first announced a couple weeks before LCS, a lot of people didn't have super high hopes, right? We knew Seraph was good, we knew Ninja was good. But in terms of how they were going to come together, there were a lot of questions, especially because, again, this roster didn't have a lot of time to gel together because of the whole Renegades fiasco. This was kind of a last-minute deal. And so a lot of people basically were pretty skeptical about how this team was going to shake out. In my preseason prediction, before any of the games started, I had them at number 8 in the league with only Apex and Phoenix 1 behind them. But they've exceeded everyone's expectations so far coming into this split and have been really impressive in terms of how they play as a team, how coordinated they are, and how it seems like they have a pretty good idea of what they want their identity as a team to be already, which is, again, really impressive for this team that had like 2 weeks to prepare before the LCS started, I believe is what Seraph and Lod both said in interviews. So to sort of show you what I'm talking about, we're going to pop into a little mini VOD review here. This is the first game of EnVyUs versus TL. And to set this one up for you guys, looking down at the minimap here, Proxen starts red and is able to invade and take Moon's blue because Moon started Wolves. Let me go to red, actually, because Moon started Wolves and then walked to his red. So as a result of invading and being able to take this blue, Proxen knows exactly where Moon is. He knows his jungle path. And knowing where all of the waves are right now on the map, basically, Proxen knows that Moon has to be bottom side right now, based on where he could be. And it's really not that impressive to know, because it's really the only lane he can gank. You can see right here is pinged out by Proxen. I assume by Proxen. It's usually the jungler's responsibility to know where the enemy jungler could be. So again, knowing Moon is bottom is pretty obvious, but it's nice to see that Proxen is, again, communicating with Seraph where their jungler can be, right? So Seraph knows, okay, Moon is bottom side. So as soon as Laurel starts to go aggressive here, he starts backing up. And here Seraph immediately calls for TP, or Ninja says he's going to TP, I don't know which. But as you can see here, it's very immediate, right? Ninja immediately, as soon as his gank starts coming in, Ninja backs up off his wave and starts channeling TP bottom, right? Very little hesitation. Granted, Liquid play this fight pretty poorly. They sort of panic as soon as the TP starts coming through, and they don't really commit to either running away or fighting it soon enough. And as a result, it's a pretty easy kill for Envy. But it does show that Envy are communicating well, and they're decisive with their calls and with their plays. Or at least in that play, they were decisive with it. So that play, we're going to see a snowball into another play, right? From this advantage, Seraph is able to shove out his wave, recall by a pink ward. He TPs back to the wave, TPs back to his lane, shoves out the wave again, and is going to go and place a pink ward right here. I'll zoom in on it once he places it. He places this guy right here. And this pink ward is going to be very important later, because he's going to be able to translate this into another play thanks to this advantage that he got bottom side. So, coming up here, right now, Ninja's shoving this wave up, as you can see. He shoves this wave really hard, which he probably shouldn't do, not having flash. It's kind of a mistake from Ninja. It's not that bad, but basically it leaves himself open to a gank topside. And Liquid very intelligently are going to look to punish him as a result, because they know he doesn't have flash, and they know they shoved this wave out, right? Because ideally, right here, you would want your wave to be about right here-ish, right? And their wave to be about right here. That way you can just kind of sit here and last hit minions safely. But where the wave is right now, that is not in the cards. So right here, again, Liquid look to punish the fact that he doesn't have flash. They double flash on Ninja. Nothing you can do. He's just auto dead. And Moon is able to survive here. He gets away just barely. It's a great punish from Liquid, identifying this guy doesn't have flash and he shoved the wave. We can easily turn this into a kill, right? But Envy Now, because they know Phoenix just burned Flash, are going to look to counter punish. So, jumping forward a bit here to 1740. Moon is bottom side. He clears his camps, and he's going to move to top side jungle, and is going to be seen on this ward. So right now, they know that Moon is top side. They know he's not bottom side. So as a result, Proxen is going to, right here, going to invade. Proxen's going to invade right here. He's going to get deep vision. He's going to get some counter jungling done. But as a result, to support him, Ninja and Seraph will start shoving up these lanes. And then they're going to look to make a play middle, because Proxen knows, hey, there's no vision here. I haven't been seen by a Wolf Spirit. We can make a play mid. Because again, they know Moon is topside. And they know Phoenix doesn't have Flash. They know they don't have vision of this play coming. So again, it's an intelligent play to make. They have all this information, and they're using it effectively, right? So they shove this wave forward. And, oh, actually right here. This is interesting. Right here, Moon uses his ult to get back from lane. Red. He ults back to here, and he's immediately pinged out by Envy, because that's the only place he can be, right? It's 7:40 right now in the timer. That's when your first buff respawns. And they know he's right at his... So they know he's doing his red right now, basically. So they know Moon is on his red. He doesn't know where we are. We can make this play middle easily, right? Because Moon is taking his red buff right now. He's not going to be able to respond to this in time. The actual play itself is super straightforward. There's nothing Phoenix can do here, right? He's just dead. No summoners even needed to be burned by it. And it's a good example of Envy communicating the information that they have to each other and looking to proactively set up a play and execute a play as a result of that information, right? It's always good to see a new team being proactive and looking to make plays, but it's even more rare to see a new team that's proactive and looking to make plays and is setting them up properly, using the information they have to identify what plays they can make and executing them properly. As I understand it, Seraph is the shot caller for this team. It's the main shot caller for this team. Which, if that's true, and I have no reason to believe it's not true, then that's very impressive. And the stats actually kind of back that up. We pop over to Oracle's Elixir real quick. Right now, for kill participation, Seraph is the league leader across all top laners, right? Which says that they play around Seraph, and not much happens on this team without Seraph, right? Compared to other top laners in the league. Seraph is very impactful on his team in terms of making things happen. He also has the highest gold at 10, right? So they also give him a lot of resources. He also plays very well to secure these advantages and make things happen, right? Seraph has been playing phenomenally. But as I talked about earlier in the video, Envy have a pretty good idea, because Seraph is such a great top laner, because Ninja is a good mid laner, because they have these kind of stars in their solo laners, and they have this aggressive jungler. They already have a pretty good idea of what they want their team to be. And to show you what I'm talking about, we're going to pop over to AD carries. And you can see Laud, who's not only the league leader across all positions, not just AD carries, the league leader in KDA. Right now, if we look at his damage per minute, it's like upper middle of the table. He's about equal with Piglet right now. He pretty much is equal with Piglet. And damage percentage, again, he's middle of the table. And so the damage he's putting up, the numbers he's putting up are pretty meh. Like, they're middle of the table, right? They're very average. But the reason for that, it becomes apparent when you look at this stat. Share of team's death, Laud is sitting at less than 7%. That's fucking phenomenal for an AD. And that's really good, right? He only has 3 deaths across 5 games, right? And that stat is inflated because he's only played 5 games. But it shows how they're using Laud and how Laud is playing as to support their stellar top side of the map, right? Laud, because you have a playmaking top, a playmaking mid, and a super aggressive jungler, you need this anchor who's going to be the sort of late game insurance policy for your team, who's going to play safe in fights, who's going to let your team make the plays and just be there to support them with damage when the time comes. Very similar to Reckless on Fnatic, right? He lets his team make the plays, and he's just going to be there as the consistent backline damage threat. He's going to play passive, he's going to play safe with the gold lead he's able to accrue, and he's going to to do what his team needs him to do, right? To be this cleanup style AD carry who's just going to be the backbone and the anchor for these team fights. And so it's very impressive that so far this team seems balanced. They seem like they know kind of how they want to play the game. Or luckily, all of their styles just meshed perfectly into this team early on. It seems really good. It seems really balanced so far. But that is not to say that they cannot play around their bottom lane, as we saw in this tragedy of a game here, where Kiwi Kid and OQ forget that there's enemy champions in the game and walk into the jungle here. They're trying to stop the camp. But it's pretty smart of Lod and Hakuho to be sitting here because they know that NRG is coming, to be sitting here and punish them for this, basically. So, because of this early damage, they're able to get off, right? And they gave me more here. This early advantage that EnVy's bottom lane gets in lane actually loses NRG the game. They lose the game straight up right here. And that's because Ezreal Karma is already a really strong lane against Sivir Alistar, right? Sivir Alistar struggles mightily against that lane. And because of this early advantage, Ezreal just snowballs out of control. And Proxen does a great job identifying, all right, we have this massive advantage on Lod and on Hakuho. How we're going to win this game is we're going to group up with the three of us, Proxen, Lod, and Hakuho. We're going to group up, we're going to siege down turrets, and we're going to take objectives. We're going to use this advantage to push objectives, to push turrets, and to snowball the goal lead very cleanly and crisply. And I'm not going to show the rest of this game, because the game itself is actually pretty boring. But it's a great example of EnVy identifying, hey, we have this early advantage. Our win condition this game is going to be Lod and Hakuho, right? It's not going to be Seraph, our star player. So right now, Proxen is going to play around Lod and Hakuho. And that's great to show that they have that kind of diversity. It's not just Seraph saying, we're going to play around me every single game. That's how we're going to win the game, right? We're going to play around me. I'm the star. That's how we're going to do it, right? Lod and Hakuho acquire this advantage, and EnVy says, all right, this is going to be our win condition. And they play to it beautifully. They play to it really well. Granted, NRG do a terrible job trying to get themselves back into the game, but EnVy do a good job identifying that, hey, we got gifted this early advantage basically by Kiwi Kid and OQ. We can take it, we can run with it, we can win the game off of it. And they do exactly that. And so it's been really awesome to see so far. This envious team coming into LCS. Again, a lot of people didn't have high hopes because they only had 2 weeks to prepare with this roster, and the roster on paper isn't that great, right? Seraph is the only real world beater here. So it's just been really refreshing to see this brand new roster come together so cleanly and coherently. They all seem like they know what they're doing. They're playing together well as a team, and they seem like they kind of already know what they want their identity to be as a team, which is great. It's awesome to see so far. You know, I think they definitely have the tools to make playoffs later in the split, and I'm super excited to see as they continue to develop their team, as they continue to refine their play, as they continue to develop their style. I'm super excited to see where they end up, because I think they can definitely be a threat in the LCS so far.